Hi all, and welcome to HQSTU's shed for beautiful BMWs. Some might say broken BMWs. I have been into BMW for quite a number of years now. Previous to that, it was all about the Holden, the Australian New Zealand icon. But BMWs have now seized me well and truly. I've had a few over the years. I currently have this 2001 740i Motorsport. I have a 540 Motorsport, also in this colour by Ritz Blue, which is currently at the paint shop getting a full repaint. And I also have a 2003 carbon black metallic E39 M5, which is away in storage. So today I thought I'd just give a little bit of an introduction to this car, the 740. I have had it approximately 15 months. It's a ex-Japan car, came to New Zealand 2005. It's had several owners and a fair bit of work done on it, a fair bit of neglect as well, unfortunately. I've been doing a fair bit of work on it since I've got it, as I can't help myself. The suspension has basically been replaced now. I've put 4 new genuine motorsport shocks on the car, each corner, as well as several control arms replaced, ball joints, etc. The brakes are all good, check those out. I've refurbished, repainted the calipers, checked the rotors, they're all good. I've yet to refurbish the wheels. They're going to need a little bit of attention at some stage. The interior, if there's enough light, I've done a fair bit of work on the interior as well. It's got the Alcantara cloth inserts on the seats. I think the code is 4GAT or G4AT. Quite nice. I've replaced the screen on the board monitor. I've replaced the steering wheel. A lot of the underside of the dash was broken or missing. Not sure what was going on there, but I have since, I came across a parts car with identical interior. So I grabbed the seats, door cards and everything out of that car, and I've made up one good set in this car. The driver's seat had a cigarette burn in it. That's now the passenger seat in the other car is now that seat. I've replaced part of the back seat as well. Rear parcel tray, given it a good clean, it goes without saying. I've replaced 3 of the 4 door cards, and now it's looking pretty nice. I've also put some chrome rings in the cluster, a little bit of bling I can't help myself with. So the current work I'm doing at the moment is all around the engine. This is the M62TU, it's 4.4 litre V8. It's got quite a unfortunate reputation as being a bit of a high maintenance item. That is not without basis. They are high maintenance, and because maintenance often got neglected in later years means they give problems. The 2 main problems, of course, being the timing chain guides tend to break, and they leak oil a fair bit. They also run at a fairly high temperature from the factory, which isn't good for plastics and rubber, gaskets, cooling system, etc. So I now run a lower temp thermostat in the engine to lower the temperature and preserve those gaskets. They also had long service intervals for oil changes when they were new, and that didn't help the oil passages in the engine, which would block up with crud. The timing guides would basically start to overheat if they were being deprived of oil and broke, which gave the problems it did. But if it's well maintained, it's a fantastic engine. This current work I'm doing is the variable valve timing, or VANOS. This is the VANOS hub, which I have removed both of them, refurbished, replaced seals in it and crimped them together to restore them to basically as new condition. This is to hopefully get rid of the rattle that this engine's had since I've had it. I have changed the lower timing chain tensioner, which fits here, but the rattle still persisted. I also discovered that this upper chain tensioner had no spring in it, which is a bit of a surprise. The spring is there to initially take up the slack until the hydraulic oil pressure builds to take over the tensioning. So that was not present, so I have bought two new upper chain tensioners as well as a new upper chain on each side. Fitted it, so I've just fitted it all back up, and I have timed it using the GAS timing tools, and I'm ready now to put the front timing covers back on and put the valve covers on and put the engine harness back on and fill it with oil and coolant and see how it goes. I did take the lower sump off just to check things. I'm glad I did, because the oil pickup was actually blocked with an old piece of timing chain guide, a bit of plastic in its mouth, in its gob. So yeah, the engine was possibly being deprived of oil, which is a bit of a worry. Not sure how long for. The timing guides were changed by the previous owner about 80,000 kilometres ago. There doesn't seem to be any undue distress on the camshaft lobes or anything like that. The engine was pretty full of crud when I first opened it up, but I've since ran an oil flush liquid through it prior to an oil change, and it's done an okay job actually now that I've opened it up again. So yeah, the sump, I'm glad I took that off. I also tensioned the oil pump chain slightly just to reduce its play to within spec. I've had the intake manifold off. I had to replace the CCV pipe that runs from front to back because the rubber portion of that had perished and it was leaking oil. And oil finds its way to the ground one way or another. I have been chasing a few oil leaks on this. I think I've got it now. The main culprit was the valve cover gaskets, which I'd already done previously. So again, just preventative maintenance. You've got to change those gaskets on a fairly regular basis, maybe every 5 years or something. So yeah, the intake's been off and back on. I also replaced the CCV diaphragm part itself at the back. Cleaned it all up. There's a lot of cleaning it goes on when you're working on these cars for obvious reasons, because I do like to ooze oil just about everywhere out of these things. So the torque converter also is slipping on its lockup clutch. It didn't present itself on the dash, but when I read the codes it was there, so it can't be too much of a major to cause too much trouble, but obviously maybe it's using more fuel. It's just running slightly higher revs, not locking up properly. So I have got a strategic spare transmission under my workbench, so I have sent that torque converter away. It's an identical transmission. Being a motorsport, they have got a specific torque converter, and the transmission itself is a separate part number as well, all to do with the higher ratio diff these motorsport cars run. So that torque converter is away being refurbished, and when it's ready I'll have that changed out. I won't try and do that myself. It needs a hoist to get that 100 kg transmission out safely. I'm not going to try that on my back underneath the car. That's just too old for that shit now. So yeah, a quick introduction to this car, particularly the engine. Future work, well, I have been doing some paint touch-ups. I've already done the top of this door. We won't look too close. I've done the mirror covers. I've yet to do the bumpers. They are pretty average when you get up close and personal. It'll look all right on camera here, but Both bumpers are pretty sad. The other doors on the other side, the tops of them need doing, door handles, a few other bits and pieces around the place. The whole car, some might argue, looks pretty good, but at some stage there's a few cracks on the bonnet, and the roof's got some stuff on it. But I am being fussy. But some stage maybe the whole car will get a repaint. So there you go, just a quick introduction to this car, my world. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you again soon.